Hey, what's going on, guys? Chad here with Greenlight Shooting, and today I'm going to answer one of you guys' questions that I get asked a lot, which is what gun do I choose to carry and why? So today we're going to be going over that gun, which is a Springfield XDS. This particular one is chambered in 45 ACP. This is the gun that I do carry. So, and there's a few reasons why. First, let's back up and do a little bit of background. This is my second gun that I ever purchased. So my first gun was a full-size 1911, which I loved, and then I got my concealed carry permit and realized I couldn't carry that. So I wanted to get something that I was familiar with, which was that 45, which I really liked, and then I kind of have to branch out and go into different calibers as well. But this gun just really stuck out to me. It was just coming out when I got my concealed, so it was really hip and popular. So I picked one up, and I want to tell you a little bit about why I chose this one as opposed to any of the other guns out there, and kind of my experiences with it. So first off, there's a few reasons why I got this one. The first reason why I picked this gun up was just because I think it's cool. I like the way that it looks. I think it's got a really sleek design. It's single stack. It fits my hand really, really well. It's got these little thumb guides right here, which I really like. The mag release is great. I like the stippling on the grip, and the fiber optic on top is just, icing on the cake. So it's just a really cool gun in my opinion. I like the way it feels and looks. Next up was price. I think I got the gun itself with 2 magazines, and it comes with a nice case. You've got another spare magazine in here, magazine holster, different grip exchanges, and then the outside the pant holster. I think I got all that for like 420 bucks. So, it was a really good deal. I could go with like the SIG 938s and 238s and stuff, which I really do like, but they're like $600-700 bucks. So for $400, it was really hard to pass this up. The third reason why I went with this gun is for all the safety features, really. I mean, I really like how it's just like your normal XDs. It's got a grip safety on it, and it's got a trigger safety and a loaded chamber indicator. I just really like knowing that if I'm going to be carrying this inside my pants and it's pointing down my leg, that it's not going to accidentally fire. So, the grip safety is awesome. I know if it's tucked in my holster, something's got to come up behind it and actually grab that grip in order for the trigger to pull through. Not only that, but if something were to, somehow get in that trigger guard, it's not pulling that through. It's not going to pull through unless, a finger comes all the way from the front with that trigger safety. So I know that a hand has to be grabbing this grip and a finger has to come from the front in order for this gun to fire, which is a really nice peace of mind when this thing is carrying inside your pants. Then another thing as far as just the aesthetics of it is I really wanted a gun that was just a black polymer frame. I didn't want to go with like the 238s and 938s because they're such pretty guns, or like a Kimber Ultra Carry or something. I didn't want to go with that because I didn't want to be worried about the gun. If I was walking and I ran into a wall, I don't know, if I fell down on the gravel, I just don't want to be worried about my carry gun getting scratched up. So I think that's something for you to consider if you're considering a concealed is, you want something that you just don't have to worry about. You can take it out, you can throw it in your glove box, you can put it in, you can do whatever you want, and you just don't have to worry about this thing getting beat up. The black polymer frame is meant to take a lot of wear, and it doesn't show it at all. I mean, it still looks new to this day, which I love about the gun. And then moving forward, people ask me about the 45 cartridge. Why did I go with the 45 for carry? And am I worried about the capacity? So, this is a single stack gun. This is one of the smaller 45s out in the market. And here's the magazine right here. So as you can see, it holds 5 rounds. 5 rounds isn't a lot. You get one in the chamber, you're carrying 6 rounds. People ask me a lot if I'm concerned about that. And yeah, I mean, it definitely runs through your mind. You'd like to have a 15 round capacity, but you're kind of trading, stopping power as well as size when you're talking about that. And the way that I justified it to myself, I guess, is I figured that people have been carrying high caliber, small capacity weapons for a long time. You think about your 357 revolvers, your 44 mags, those are six shot revolvers. So I was like, that's kind of similar to this. You're getting a lot of stopping power, you don't have a lot of capacity, but you got 6 rounds. 6 rounds should do the trick. So that's kind of the way I justified it to myself. I don't know if that's legit or not, but that's kind of what I said to myself. As well as, it does come with the extended magazines for shooting at the range and stuff like that. You can get a 7 round, and then the 7 round gives you just that extra pinky grip on there. So You know, it allows you to get your whole hand on there. So, you know, when you're shooting out at the range, it makes it really nice and easy. Without it, let me grab an empty mag here. So this is your normal mag, 5 rounds. You know, your pinky, my pinky barely fits on there, and it goes under usually. But that's kind of how I'll grip it with that mag in it. Makes it a heck of a lot easier to carry though than trying to carry it with this big beast on there. So that kind of gives you an idea of the gun. That gives you my thought process behind why I like this gun. When I do carry it, I carry it in this Galco gun leather inside the pant holster. It's really nice. You know, I just put this right behind my right hip, and then I fold this part right over my pants, and then put a belt on top of here. You can still tuck your shirt in right there. I haven't had good luck trying that, so I just wear just, you know, a baggy t-shirt or something like that. It's not a big deal. This holster, when this gun came out, they didn't have a holster made for this gun. So this holster was made for the Glock 26. And as you can see, you know, it fits very, very well. So I love it. It fits like a glove. So that's the holster I use. It's really pretty comfortable. The gun itself is fairly heavy for a carry gun. You know, it's not going to be like your LCPs or something like that where you throw it in your pocket and you forget it's there, but you know, it conceals itself very well. I'm a relatively small guy, and I have no problem concealing this in the summer with shorts and a t-shirt. So, you know, for a concealed gun, it does its job very, very well. Yeah, so like I said, that's kind of an overview of why I chose this gun. Now, I want to take this out to the range. I'm going to do some close-ups on the gun in kind of slow motion and show you what the recoil looks like, because at the end of the day, this is still a 3.3-inch barrel polymer frame shooting a 45 ACP, so it's snappy. You know, I definitely wouldn't recommend it for everyone, but if you're comfortable with the cartridge, you're comfortable with you know, your grip and your stance, you got a good solid foundation, this gun is great. So like I said, I'm gonna take this out to the range. We're gonna see some close-ups on it, and you know, you can kind of get an idea of the recoil, and then I'll also bring in the target and show you how it performs accuracy-wise, at least roughly, and just do a quick overview on that. So yeah, we'll see you at the range. Alright guys, so hopefully that gave you a little bit better idea into how this XDS 45 handles. Now there's no doubt it is a snappy little thing. You know, it's a 45 ACP coming out of a 3.3-inch barrel on a polymer frame. It's gonna have a little bit of recoil. It's not a beginner's gun. Now they do have this gun in a 9mm as well. They're still gonna be getting a little bit of snap out of that, but certainly not as much as the 45. Like I said, you know, it's not a beginner's gun, but if it's something, if you're comfortable with the cartridge, if you're comfortable with some recoil, and you're confident in your abilities, this gun is a fantastic gun. You know, the shots are decently on point. It's a really easy to carry, and there's a ton of knockdown power in that 45 ACP. So overall, that's why I carry this gun. I really enjoy it. Let's go over these charts real quick, or these targets real quick, and you can get an idea of where those bullets were landing. Here's that first target that I was shooting at while I was just doing the slow motion shots. I wasn't super focused on accuracy, but it wasn't bad. I shot 9 shots. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them are in the black. We've got one flyer here, and one way down here. So really, other than that one, that's a pretty decent grouping for not worrying a ton about accuracy. That was at about 12 yards out, by the way. Next up, we've got the one where I was a little more worried about accuracy. I was taking my time, really trying to shoot well, and I shot 5 total bullets. 4 are on the paper, and you saw that last one didn't fire. You can see the bullet right here. It struck the primer, but it didn't fire, so that's a little concerning. I don't know what's going on there, but out of the 4 that landed, they were decent, you know. This is again at 12 yards. We've got 1 above the bull, 1 to the left, and 2 just barely off the red. So The most accurate gun in the world? Absolutely not. But it's a subcompact. Like I said, it's shooting a 45 ACP. There's a ton of power in those things. And in a critical situation, you know, it's decent. That 45 is going to knock someone down. So hopefully that gives you a better idea on that XDS. It's a great gun. I really enjoy shooting it, carrying it. I think it's a great gun, but again, it is not a beginner's weapon. If you enjoyed this video, please definitely like it, share it, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you click this button right here, you'll be subscribed to the channel. You won't miss any of the future videos. We've got a lot of good stuff coming, more reviews, more of me answering your questions, more how-tos, tips and tricks, competition stuff, all sorts of good stuff. If there's anything specific you guys want to see, leave them in the comments below or shoot me an email at greenlightshooting@gmail.com. And I will see you next time on Greenlight Shooting. Check out these other 2 videos if you haven't seen them yet. Thanks for watching.
From other people, it's done the same as well.
Yeah, I mean, and there's divisions of the military that are picking up this gun, right? I mean,
yeah, absolutely. You know, SOCOM's starting to run it, and I think they got some contracts, and